for this short, for this press briefing on a short notice. We want to release a press release because of the ongoing situation in the country. So I prepared a press release, and I will just read it through. Maybe one or two questions I will answer because I have another meeting. I hope you will understand. You take the whole thing. Okay. Good afternoon. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of South Sudan, which is chaired by myself, the Governor of the Bank of South Sudan, held an ordinary meeting on Thursday, which is today, March 23rd, 2023 at 10 a.m. The meeting reviewed the monetary policy instrument in light of the current situation and got updates on recent macroeconomic developments, with focus on foreign exchange market, inflation, as well as condition of the monetary system. The meeting noted with concern the persistent depreciation of the South Sudanese pound against the US dollar and the subsequent increase in prices of imported commodities, and hence raising inflation, attributing it to the tight global and domestic financial conditions. The global financial conditions remain tight following the Russia-Ukraine war, Federal Reserve tightening of its monetary policy, and banking crisis in the US, where two banks failed. The US dollar strengthened sharply against major currencies, including the regional ones, including the South Sudanese pound. In addition, the increase in prices of imported commodities elsewhere and major trading partners like Uganda, whose prices rose by more than 50% in the month of January, have a strong bearing on the food prices in the market in Juba. This is according to the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning. Domestically, the financial condition, and in particular the exchange rate, remains volatile. The demand for dollars for imports from the rest of the world, school fees, and Easter season exerted upward pressure on the exchange rate market. It is also observed that major institutional units, business entities, and households buy dollars for precautionary measures to caution themselves against currency depreciation and inflation. Analysis of the commercial bank returns revealed that 77% of deposits are denominated in US dollars. With respect to monetary system conditions, the banking sector is largely safe and sound and remain resilient. The level of international reserve for the central bank is below the 4.5 months of import cover, a threshold required by the East African Community Conversion Criteria. The recent IMF food shock window, the Treasury single currency account, and proceeds from the oil reserve will definitely boost the reserve that required. Despite the exchange rate volatility, headline inflation remains elevated, but at a double digits of 14% and 13% in the months of January and February 2023, which is close to the policy rate target of plus or minus 8%. The private sector credit growth was gradually picking up, with total amount of loans in December recorded an average of about 43 billion compared to 22 billion in 2021. Supported by increased GDP growth rate, is projected to average 3% in 2023, driven mainly by oil and service sector and government consumption and investment in physical infrastructure projects. Measures taken to contain the currency depreciation and inflationary pressures. The fiscal and monetary authorities are working together in collaboration and are committed to implement the public finance management reforms aimed at restoring macroeconomic stability. Specifically, the Bank of South Sudan and the Ministry of Finance are working together in the operationalization of the Treasury Single Account, which will allow the central bank to automatically convert all US dollar-denominated government revenues, including the proceeds from oil sales, into SSP. This will allow the bank to build much-needed reserve, international reserve. In addition, the international reserve position of the country has been boosted by the $115 million that the IMF board approved as the food shock window. That money, we have it. In addition to that, the bank also is taking additional measures in tightening the monetary policy by controlling the growth of broad money. In effect, the MPC unanimously resolved that these are the points that the Monetary Policy Committee agreed, that to maintain the zero deficit financing, which means no overdraft. Secondly, increase the amount of term deposit. We are currently auctioning term deposit to commercial banks. We are going to increase it from 10 billion to 20 billion. Maintain growth in broad money of 11 plus or minus 11% and headline inflation of 8% respectively. The Bank of South Sudan is going to lift restriction on the frequency of deposit by commercial banks. So, which means commercial bank will be depositing money anytime and every time, so that they do not complain that they're given only a day or two. Third, the central bank will increase the interest rate by 300 basis points from 12% to 15%. By this, we'll encourage commercial banks and even those who have money outside to come and invest in the term deposit that the central bank is offering. 6, introduce the immediate effect cash-based option whose proceeds will be paid in cash rather than debiting book value. What we are doing here is that the normal option is that banks instruct us to debit their account. But in order for us to get money from the people on the street, we are introducing now that all auctions be paid in cash. If you have SSP, you bring the SSP either to a bank or Forex to come and bid in the auction. But we are going to provide the auction amount immediately. 7, maintain average foreign exchange exposure limit of commercial banks by plus or minus 10% of car capital. 8, maintain original target to build international reserve of 4.5 months of import cover. 9, the bank to provide trade finance facility to major importers of strategic commodities such as fuel, food, and pharmaceuticals. 10, the bank to continue intervention by auctioning $5 million every week to commercial banks and to Forex bureaus, and will increase the amount when necessary. 11, and finally, the bank will continue to monitor and review the situation and respond with appropriate measures as the situation warrants. Thank you very much.